What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. Before I go any further, guys, I must say I got some goats in the background and some chickens that will be making some noise throughout this video. So please don't pay them any mind. So let's get back to what the video is about, guys. All these right here, guys, as I said in the video when I was making I'll show you guys how I made the foundation press. I was going to show you some of the mistakes that I made. Here they are. These are all silicones that went to waste, but nevertheless, guys, I didn't give up. Come up with new ideas, and now I have something that actually works. So I'm just going to put these aside, guys, and get straight into the video. Going to set up and put everything in place that I'm going to need for this video to make the sheet of beeswax foundation, and show you guys every little thing that I came up with, and testing and find out what works and what don't work. So I will be back shortly, guys. Welcome back. This is the setup. Now before I get started, you might notice something different about the foundation press. I add a fan to it that is optional, so you don't have to have a fan and the foundation press, but the fan helps to cool the beeswax much faster, so you can get to make a next one as quick as possible. Because if you don't have the fan on it, you will have to give it some time for that beeswax to cool down before you can remove the sheet of foundation. But it's optional. I work it without the fan. So that's one minor adjustment that I did. And I cut 2 slots. This is where the hot heat will escape. So these 2 slots is just where the hot heat is going to escape when the fan is working. And the 2 boards that was on the foundation press that I said I was going to use to hold the wires, to embed the wires in the wax foundation sheet, I removed that setup because I'm going to use fishing line, and you know fishing line is very hard to deal with. It can't wrap around the nails and stay in place. I will have to tie them, and then that is going to take some time for me to pull them back when the foundation is actually going to be removed from it. So I said no. I removed them. I went ahead and I bore 4 holes. 2 over here, 1 here, and 1 here, and 1 here, and 1 up here. So that leaves me with 4 holes that I'm going to string the fishing line through, and then I'm going to have clips at each side that is going to hold the fishing line in place while I pour the beeswax onto the mold and then make the foundation. So that's the setup. So whenever you're making foundation, guys, it's important to have a spray bottle. The spray bottle contains water, plain water. Some people will put a drop of dishwashing liquid in it for a mold release, but the water works well. And now for the fan, I just have this drill battery that I'm going to use to run the fan. But but I'm not going to start the fan as yet, guys, because I want to show you guys some stuff before I start. I want to show you that you don't have to use the fan, and one problem that I was having, and you guys might end up with having this problem if you should actually get a professional beeswax foundation press, or if you make it yourself, you might end up with this problem. So I'm going to show you, because I was searching online and I did not find any information to why the sheet of beeswax foundation was cracking when I make it, and open the mold, it have a crack in the middle of it, and I was not finding any information why that was happening. But I figure it out, guys, and I'm going to show you. So guys, as you can see on the side right here, this is a hot plate. It is heating the beeswax right now and melting it, and I have a kettle. Please note, a kettle. This is very important. In most video, when they're making foundation, they will show you to use one of this to scoop up the beeswax and then pour it on the surface of the mold. This one, it is small, so you will have to make multiple scoop of beeswax to pour, and by that time some of the beeswax might be end up cooling already. And our next problem, you're going to spill beeswax with this. So when you scoop it up from the pot that it is in, by the time you come over where the mold is, beeswax is going to drop. It's going to drop all over the place, and that is going to waste beeswax. We don't want to waste any beeswax. So a kettle is important, where you can just pull it from where you have it be melting the beeswax, and then pour your beeswax on the mold, and then put your kettle back in place and close your mold. Whatever excess beeswax come from the mold, it will gather in the catchment that you have for the beeswax to collect in, and when it cool, you can just take it out and put it right back in your kettle. So eventually you're going to make beeswax foundation with all the beeswax that you have until none is left back in the kettle. If you use this, eventually the beeswax that is in the kettle will be low. No, not the kettle, because if you're going to use one of this, you're not going to have a kettle, you will have a pot. So eventually the beeswax is going to get low in the pot. This can't scoop it up anymore because it's too low. So what you're going to do, you will have to hold that pot and start pouring it on the surface. So the best thing to use, guys, is a kettle. It works out much better. And this kettle did not cost me a lot. It is very cheap. Guys, while we wait on the beeswax to melt properly inside the kettle, these are 2 sheets of beeswax foundation that I made by testing a couple days ago. And when you watch videos that they are making beeswax foundation sheets with a foundation press, they will tell you that it is going to be brittle, so you have to get them in the frames quick as possible. For this one, I actually test it, and it's not brittle. It's brittle somewhat. The thicker the sheet of beeswax foundation is, it will be more brittle. So the thinner it is, it will have more flex. So this had been done a couple days ago, and it's still flexible. As you can see, it's not breaking, it's more flexible. But as you can see right here, it did break right here, because up here at the foundation, at the end of the foundation, it's much thinner, not thinner, it's much thicker, I should say. So that's why I get a break right here. So as I said, it's brittle somewhat. The thinner the foundation is, it will have more flex. And here is the next one. This one, it don't really have any crack, only this little crack right here, and you can see that it's very flexible. So if you want your foundation to be flexible where they're not cracking, they will have to be much thinner. The more thicker, it will require more beeswax, and beeswax is very expensive and it's scarce. So with that being said, I'm going to put these aside and check the wax in the kettle if it's finished melting. Guys, the wax in the kettle is finished melting, but before something just slipped me that I didn't show you guys. And here's the wires, guys. The fishing line, they're actually embedded in the foundation, so you can just put them in the frames and then wire them in place. Just have your nails that you wrap the fishing line around and then nail that nail down in place to hold the fishing line, so the foundation don't have anywhere to go. Here is the fishing line, guys. Okay guys, so when I'm going to use the mold, I open the mold. I have my spray bottle. Ensure that it is spraying in a mist form, so the water droplets is very fine. So you coat that foundation, the mold, properly with the water in order for the foundation to not stick, the beeswax to not stick to the surface. It's going to be a pain to get it off if it actually stick. So I spray the edges as well of the mold, so whatever excess beeswax run out, I can actually remove it from the edge of the mold. And then I actually coat the container that the beeswax is going to collect in as well. Coat it with water, so the beeswax won't stick to it. It will easily remove. So coat the mold properly, and then I'm going to use a rag to dry out the excess water. It's a wet rag. So guys, now I squeeze out the rag, and now I come and I barely tap it and ensure that the excess water is off the mold. The excess water is going to make that foundation cool too fast, and it might end up even cracking the foundation. But the first one that I'm going to make now, guys, I'm just going to show you guys something. So guys, if for instance you was using that scoop to scoop up the beeswax, you would pour the beeswax foundation at the back of the mold like this, and you wouldn't full it all the way out. You wouldn't pour beeswax on the beeswax and all of the surface. So you would close it in for it to run out, but it's going to give you a crack. So guys, because I was talking, the beeswax it was kind of setting, it was cooling and harden, start to harden, so that's why much of it did not run out. But I'm going to show you now guys, whenever I open it, right in the middle of that foundation, it's going to have a crack. That's because I did not fill the whole surface with the beeswax. So when I actually going to make the sheets that I want to turn out properly, I will have to fill the whole surface of the mold with the beeswax. So I'm just going to give it just a little time to cool properly. And I'm not using the fan as yet guys. So I'm just going to scrape off this little that is here. It might cool by now. So I'm going to open it and see. But I can tell that there is a crack. Okay guys, just as I expect. As you can see, there is a crack running right along the middle. And that crack happened just because I poured the beeswax right here. And right here where the crack is, it start to cool. So whenever the excess run, when I close the mold and it start to run forward, it did not join, it just cracked because air started to cool already. So the excess just run over and come here and settle, and then it leave with a crack. So that's the problem that I was facing, and I didn't see anything related to it on the internet to actually solve it. So that's when I start using the kettle. I get the kettle, buy the kettle and start using it, because I was using the scoop and that's the result that I was getting, because the scoop was not filling the whole mold with the beeswax. So guys, normally when I open the mold, I would spray water on the foundation just to cool it, in order for me to take it out without need tearing. So I'm actually going to slide this scraper underneath the foundation and then take it up. So guys, as you can see, this turned out with a crack. So just please note, do not do it like this. You will have to fill the mold fully with the beeswax foundation in order not to get a crack. So when I return back now guys, I'm going to take a break. When I return, I'm going to set up to actually make a good sheet of foundation. I'm going to run my fishing line in place and all of that. So guys, I'm back now. So if you don't want any fishing line in the sheet of foundation guys, you don't have to do this step. So I'm just going to feed the fishing line through the holes that I created right here. So it's 2 pieces of fishing line, feed it through, and then I'm going to feed it through this one here. Same thing for this one. Okay, so there it goes. Then I'm going to close the mouth for a second, and I go over here now guys, and I want to make sure I have enough fishing line on this side. That's when I put the foundation in the frame, have enough fishing line to run through the frame and wrap around the nail and the frame. So I got some clips. They are very important. These clips, I took them from off some old ID, but these clips, they're good to hold the fishing line, because I don't know if I can show you guys. Whenever you put the fishing line in it, guys, it actually go down on the fishing line and it kind of hold it much better. As you can see, it kind of bend the fishing line, so it give it a tighter hole. And this one, this big clamp here, does not hold the fishing line as strong as this small one right here. So if you can find these clips on the ID, it holds much better. So I'm going to go ahead now, guys, put these aside. I'm going to use these big clips over this side and hold the fishing line in place. So those two ends, they are in place, they're all in place. So now I open the mold, put some tension on the fishing line, then close it, and then I actually use these clips over this side. That end is hold in place, then I go here and I hold that end in place as well. So now there is a fishing line, and now I am going to coat the mold with water. So guys, I'm going to coat the mold now. What this bug is doing on my mold. Okay, that bug is gone. So now I just coat the surface of the mold, coat it properly, the edges and in the catchment. So that's it. And then now I come with the rag and take up the excess water. You just want the surface to be wet, guys, but not extremely wet, not dripping wet. If you want, you can just do the fishing line like this, let some of the water that is on it come off, and then now I'm actually going to go ahead and pour the beeswax on the mold, and then we see how well. And note, I'm not using the fan, guys. See it here? I don't put any current in it as yet for it to spin, because we're going to show you that the fan is optional. So I go ahead with the kettle now and pour the beeswax on all of the surface of the mold. Some excess is going to run out, but it will gather in the catchment. You want to make sure you feel all the surface, guys, because wherever did not have any beeswax, when you close the mold, it is going to crack. So I'm going to close it now, guys. You see, all that excess beeswax came out and it collect in the catchment. So I just have to leave it now, not for long. Just give it some time to cool. Then I actually take the spray bottle at this point and spray the edge right here. But the water is going to catch the water, that the beeswax that is in the catchment, and it will help to kind of cool it. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove this beeswax right here. So I just run the scraper along the edge and cut it. And remove this beeswax. So by this point now guys, the beeswax get a little time to cool. When I was removing this beeswax from here, so now I can go ahead and open the mold. And when I open the mold, I'm just going to use a spray bottle to spray some water and cool the beeswax foundation, because the fan is not working, so the beeswax foundation it's much hotter. So I'm going to go ahead, I hold the edge right here of the mold and then open it. So as I can see now guys, it turned out it did not crack. Only right here guys is much thinner, and the reason for that is because the handle, it is right here. The handle is right over this area, so whenever I press down the mold, the handle section tend to squeeze down much more, so it end up leaving a thinner section right here. But that's no problem. So I'm going to go ahead, spray the water just to help to cool that wax fastly. That's good enough. And then I run the scraper underneath. Oh, before I do that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Need to remove the clips guys to free up that fishing line. So one reason that will help to tear the foundation guys, if the fishing line is stuck and you're pulling up the sheet of foundation, it will help to rip the foundation. I'm going to try not to rip this one though. Okay, they are out, and now can actually move the sheet of foundation. So guys, if I don't put much squeeze on the foundation press, this section will end up more thicker, and it won't have this section missing. So right here guys, I get the fishing line where it is. Seems like too much water was right there, so it end up tear, but that's not a problem. As you can see, it's a very decent sheet of foundation. Get this in the frame and wire it up, you're good to go. So guys, I'm going to do this one a little different now. I'm going to spray the mold before I put the fishing line in place. I'm going to test it out this way. So I coat the surface with water, the edges, or the edge, and in the catchment, along the edge of the catchment, so no beeswax stick on that part where no water is. So you coat it properly, because if no water is there, the beeswax is going to stick. So now I'm going to get the fishing line and wire them in place. So here is a fishing line, guys. Said procedure now. Wire it, run it through the hole. So if you're not wiring the foundation, guys, it's a much faster process. The time that you're taking now to wire the mole in order to get the fishing line in the foundation sheet, you could be pouring the beeswax right now. So that is a much faster process, but if you want the wires in the foundation, you will have to spend the time and do it, because if you don't do it that way, you still will have to wire your frames. So now I'm going to close the mole and clip those two ends. So those two ends, guys, they're clipped now. Then I put some tension on the fishing line, close them all, clip these two ends to ensure that the clip is on properly. That's it. And one thing that slipped me a while ago, guys, I did not remove the excess water before I run the fishing lines. So I'm just going to tap the surface with the rag just to remove any excess water. So guys, if you are making foundation sheets with one of these press and you notice that you do my procedure, so after spraying the water and remove the excess water with the rag, and you notice that the foundation is sticking to the mold, do not remove the excess water. Try it that way, but for me it worked well this way. So now guys, excess water is removed. Got a little beeswax right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour the beeswax. So let's go again. Pour the beeswax all over the surface. To make sure that every little creases have beeswax. So that's it guys, and then you close the mold. So guys, now I squeeze the ends. I did not squeeze where the handle is, so I don't know if that is going to make much of a difference. And I still did not put the fan on, but I'm going to connect it now and let it do its work. So there's the fan guys, it's spinning now, and I can feel some warm air coming up. I go ahead now and spray the edges. Why I always say the edges, it's really the edge because it's one edge. then I run the scraper and cut the beeswax right here. So make sure that this edge right here, guys, is wet properly. So I can go ahead now and open the mold. The mold is much cooler when the fan is running. So I'm going to open it. And now, guys, you can see the difference. Here is the difference. This section right here is not thin, but I can see a little crack where the fishing line run. The fishing line is what causing this crack right here. So I'm going to spray some water. The foundation is warm. Water in my spray bottle is going down, and now I run the scraper underneath the foundation and try to get up the foundation without the fishing line tearing the foundation. So that's it, and then I take my time and remove the sheet of foundation. Guys, I did not remove these clips. So here is it, guys. This is a much better sheet. Down below right here is much thicker now because I did not pressure that section. And as you can see right here, the fishing line kind of cut the foundation right here. So that's okay. When it's in the frame, the bees, they will join back that little section that is tear. So guys, that's it. So I actually made the sheets of foundation. As you can see, it's a lovely sheet of foundation, you know, guys. But something is causing the fishing line to tear the foundation right here. It's always happening on this end. It's not happening on this end, guys. So I will have to inspect and see if it's the mold causing it. But definitely something is causing it. Is either water is along the fishing line right here, or the fishing line is up off the surface of the silicone. So whenever I open the mold, it kind of pull the beeswax foundation and cause it to rip off the fishing line. Something like that is happening. I will soon solve that problem. That's not a big deal, guys. So guys, by now this video might be really long. I will have to put all the little sections together and then see how long it is. So here they are, guys. The more I do it, I'm going to get much better at it, because making foundation, guys, it's like a technique, a skill. You have to take your time until you master it properly. So now these foundation can actually use in the hive. Don't have to worry to buy foundation sheets. And this is the one that we just make. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you like the video. If you see me or saw me do something in the video that should have done a much different way, that is going to let me see much better result, you can leave it down in the comment section and let me know. So thanks for watching. Please like, hit that thumbs up button, comment in the comment section, guys. New viewers, please subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more video to come. Until next time, guys. I'm actually out of words right now. So please like the video, leave your comment in the comment section, let me know you appreciate the video and all of that. So peace, guys.
When